on preliminary and sophisticated analytical instruments which are applicable for both your analytical part, what you are learning in the theory. And then chromatographic analysis, it is the major class in which paper chromatography you are going to perform in that ascending. Anybody wants to join? So in that ascending paper chromatography and circular paper chromatography, you need to perform these two experiments you have done. All right. And the third will be the second part of chromatography is thin layer chromatography. Chromatography was divided into several categories according to the different principle of separation. First one is paper chromatographic analysis, that ascending, then circular, then thin layer. Under thin layer, only one experiment you are going to perform, separation and identification of sulfur drugs by thin layer chromatographic analysis. This experiment only today we are going to discuss. And in the next class, HPTLC analysis, where only demonstration of HPTLC is going to be explained. Then HPLC demonstration, then GCMS, GC demonstration. Okay, GCMS. This is all demonstration. I'll be sharing the material with you and I will explain. Then spectroscopic analysis after chromatography, the spectroscopy in which the first technique will be UV visible, what theory we have discussed. In that single component analysis, there are 3 experiments you are going to carry out. And in that lambda max analysis, in the single component, when you are not knowing lambda max, you have to scan, I told no. So lambda max analysis comprises of 3 experiments. Then calibration curve method, plotting a standard curve, comprises of 2 experiments you are going to perform. Then in multi-component analysis, using A1% 1 centimeter method, simultaneous estimation is applicable for 2 drugs. Simultaneously to analyze metronidazole and amoxicillin, you are going to perform. Then after UV visible analysis, spectrophlorimetry will be performing. There are 3 experiments under spectrophlorimetric method. Then nepheloturbidimetry 2 experiments, then flame photometry 2 experiments, and IR, NMR interpretations you are going to learn. Then in electrochemical methods of analysis, there are 3 experiments with the electrochemical methods. Then polarimetric analysis 1 experiment, then thermal analysis 1 experiment. So according to your syllabus, all the experiments I have categorized, and the same experiment titles you could find in the syllabus also. In syllabus they have given randomly they have given. I have classified according to your theory syllabus. Okay. So now let's move on to the third experiment. So these are the first and second experiment introduction regarding paper chromatography and all. Now let's move on to the third experiment. This thin layer chromatographic analysis. Separation and identification of sulfur drugs using RF value by thin layer chromatographic analysis. So by means of TLC, thin layer technique, you are going to separate sulfur drugs from the sample mixture, and you are going to identify the sulfur drug, what drug it is, okay, by using its RF value. And based on the deduction methods, RF value you will be calculating and you will be comparing with the standard RF value, and you need to deduct what sulfur drug it is and what is the RF value of given sulfur drug you will be reporting. And the deduction method followed will be either reagent method, destructive or non-destructive method. What color the sulfur drugs are giving through that method, that all will be discussed. Okay. So you are going to separate and identify the given sulfur drug by means of thin layer chromatographic analysis. So that is the concept. Here I have given by mistake alkylide and caffeine, since I have copied from another manual where we have performed alkylide sample. So I have given the same. Just in your manual, strike off that this word and write it down sulfur drugs. Okay. Write it down sulfur drugs in your manual. Those who have manual, strike this word alkaloid or caffeine. You just write sulfur drugs. Okay. So what are the requirements you need means glass plates to prepare thin layer of adsorbent. It follows adsorption principle. Thin layer chromatography follows adsorption principle as we have discussed in the theory. Just to recollect the points what we have discussed in the theory. So glass plates are inert support to prepare thin layer of adsorbent. In order to get thin layer plates, Then 100 ml and 250 ml beakers. 100 ml beakers to prepare samples, your sample of your sulfur drug, and 250 ml beakers are acting as mobile phase chambers. Okay, and petri dish lids to prepare to close the mobile phase chambers. Petri dish lids are used, and then capillary tubes through which you are taking the sample that has been prepared in 100 ml beaker. Capillary tubes are used for that purpose, for sample application. Then filter papers to know about the saturation of mobile phase chamber with mobile phase solvents. Filter papers are used. And then hot air oven to activate the TLC plate prepared. To activate the TLC plate prepared, that is over the glass plates, you will be preparing TLC thin layer plate of adsorbent. That is activated in hot air oven, and even to find out or to evaporate any solvent, you'll be using hot air oven. Then UV cabinet, so it is used for non-destructive detection of the sulfur drug that is separated. UV detection method using short wavelength and longer wavelength, shorter and longer wavelengths. Okay, for that purpose UV cabinet is used. And scale to measure the distance traveled by solvent and distance traveled by sample. And mortar and pestle are used to prepare a slurry of adsorbent. So that is silica gel slurry is prepared by using mortar and pestle. Then weighing balance to measure the weight of sulfur drugs, quantity of sulfur drug weight using weighing balance. Then butter paper and spatula for that purpose, weighing purpose only. So these are all the requirements required, apparatus required for thin layer chromatographic analysis. First you require glass plates, then 100 ml and 250 ml beakers, petri dish lids, capillary tubes, filter papers, hot air oven, UV cabinets, scale, mortar and pestle, weighing balance, butter paper and spatula. So what are chemicals you require? Silica gel as adsorbent to prepare the thin layer with GM, that is meant for TLC separation. Silica gel for TLC grade we need to choose, where it will be mixed with binding agent gypsum, graded as G. So this is forming thin layer of adsorbent. Binding agent will bind the two particles of silica. Since silica is a flowable crystal, it is a crystal. So to make a layer, this binding agent helps. Okay. Then sulfur drugs, that is your sample. Then chloroform, acetone, toluene. These are solvent system used for mobile phase. Then distilled water to prepare, in order to prepare sample and in order to make a mobile phase also. Let's see the mobile phase composition. For that purpose, for washing, for making sample preparation, everything distilled water is used. Without distilled water, we will not perform any experiment mostly, right? So distilled water is essential chemical in all the practicals. So these are all your requirements. Then let's move on to the chromatographic parameters followed in thin layer chromatographic analysis. Firstly, principle. So in that order only we have discussed in theory also. The same order is given here. Principle is adsorption chromatography. Thin layer, since we are using adsorbent as silica gel, it follows adsorption chromatography. And it is solid liquid chromatography, since solid as stationary phase and liquid as mobile phase solvents. Mobile phase solvents are used, it is solid liquid chromatography. And planar chromatography, since the separation occurs over plane surface of thin layer plates, it is called planar chromatography. And the ascending development technique, ascending development, that is against gravitational force, solvent is moved in the mobile phase chamber for development of the sample. And in only one direction the development occurs, since it is called one-dimensional development technique. And how the solvent moves against gravitational force means through capillary action. This capillary is formed between the pores of silica gel. Silica gel is a polymers. Polymers, when it forms layers, it will create pores. That pores are called as capillaries. So by means of capillary action, the solvent moves against gravitational force through ascending development and one-dimensional development technique. Okay. So this is what principle. Adsorption. All are listening, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So this is about principle, adsorption, solid liquid, planar, ascending development, one-dimensional development and by capillary action. Then about stationary phase selection. Material is glass slide. That's what glass plates are used. Even you can use microscopic slides. That is sufficient for analytical purpose. Even glass plates also are used with ideal dimensions. You know that dimension of the plates are ideal dimensions are 20 into 20, 10 into 10, 20 into 10, 10 into 5, like that. So glass plates, when you choose, you can use ideal dimensions. For laboratory purpose, always will be preferring microscopic slides, glass slides. Then dimension of, here it is slide. Dimension of the slide is 2.5 into 7.5 centimeter. So write down, make a correction here. Instead of paper, write slide. These are while preparing manual, it's some mistakes, typographical mistakes has occurred. Just note down. So whatever correction now we make will be altered in the forthcoming years. Okay. In your observation, just strike out the paper and write dimension of the slide. Slide that will be 2.5 centimeter, that is width. 7.5 centimeter is length of the plate. Length of the glass slide is 7.5 centimeter. 2.5 centimeter is width of that glass slide. Then adsorbent used is silica gel with the G. Then plate preparation method. What are the preparation methods available for preparing TLC plates? Can anyone mention what are the preparation methods are available for TLC plates? Even you have written in the sessional also, right? Methods of preparation of TLC plates. There are 4 methods available, right?
Spread method, pouring, dipping.
Yeah, very good. Pouring method,
Spraying.
dipping method, spraying, and spreading method. So here, widely used method is pouring method. Okay, in laboratory we'll be using pouring method in order to get uniform layer, where dipping, spraying, and spreading will not be following in the lab. Okay, where spreading method will be applicable to prepare accurate measurement with the accurate thickness of the plate. We'll be going with spreading method. For that we require spreader, TLC spreader. Not use that. And spraying method, while spraying definitely you won't get a uniform layer. And dipping method also will consume more slurry of silica gel, and even in that you won't get a uniform layer. So in order to get uniform layer and in order to save the quantity of slurry, we'll be going with pouring method only. Okay, so plate preparation. If any demo video I get for plate preparation, then I will be posting you. Otherwise, theoretically, you just understand. Okay. They are prepared by mixing the adsorbents such as silica gel with a small amount of inert binder like calcium, that is gypsum already added with that, and water is added. 2:1 ratio, this silica gel and water is added. Okay, silica gel G you have to add it. If 2 gram or 2 volume of silica gel you are taking, then 1 volume of water should be added. Okay, so 2:1 ratio, silica gel and water is added in mortar and pestle. That's what mortar and pestle I have mentioned here. The role of using mortar and pestle are in order to prepare the uniform slurry of silica gel with distilled water. Okay, and this mixture is spread as thick slurry on an unreactive carrier sheet, usually glass. That is a glass slide only here is mentioned. So you need to add, how you need to add the prepared slurry means take the glass slide and pour at the center. Keep it horizontally. The slide should be kept in your palm horizontally. Then you need to add, pour the slurry prepared, pourable slurry only. So you will be pouring from mortar to the slide at the center of the slide. You need to pour at the center of the slide. Okay, after adding enough slurry, you will be knowing how much quantity is required while pouring only in order to get uniform spreading of that slurry over the plate. Okay, so once you add the enough slurry, stop adding and tilt the plate just up and down. Move the plate slide up and down so that from the center the slurry will be equally distributed to the corners, and all the edges of the plates also will be covered. Once it is covered, you stop spreading it and keep it aside for some time at room temperature. Okay, then it is activated. Activated means it cannot be dried. Water cannot be dried at room temperature soon, right? So we need to evaporate the solvent present. What solvent we have added? Water. So we need only silica gel for separation. We don't need water. Water, if it is present, then it will interfere with the mobile phase composition, then it will affect the RF value also. So we need to evaporate all the solvent water present in the slurry, and even any microbes or any interfering materials, foreign particles are present with the slurry will be removed or deactivated. At what temperature and timing it will be deactivated? At 110 degrees Celsius. If you are heating for 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes we need to heat, then only it will be getting activated. So this is called activation temperature and timing. This also already we have discussed in theory also. So we need to heat at 110 degrees Celsius, that is more than boiling point. The temperature is applied so that water solvent present in that will be evaporated, even microbes also, and that temperature will be removed from the plate. So only you will get the activated form of silica gel in the plate. Okay, now it is ready for the absorption. Around the layer thickness will be around 0.1 to 0.25 millimeter. In millimeters itself, it is a fraction, 0.1 to 0.25 millimeter for analytical purposes. That is the thickness, ideal thickness of the thin layer plate. Okay. So this is about a stationary phase preparation. So we'll be using 2.5 into 7.5 centimeter glass slide, that is of microscopic slide. We'll be using adsorbent as silica gel with a gypsum binder. That is silica gel G is taken in the 2 volume of silica gel G is taken in the mortar, and 1 volume of water is added to that and triturate it well with the pestle. Okay, in order to get uniform slurry without any lumps, you need to prepare a uniform slurry, pourable slurry. According to the pourability, you can adjust adding water. Qualitatively, you can prepare. Okay, so add drop by drop water, and then you can prepare the slurry and pour the slurry at the center of the plate. Okay, glass plate. You take the plate in another hand and pour the slurry from the mortar at the center of the plate. After adding enough slurry to the plate, and then keep it aside the mortar. Just tilt the slide up and down to spread the slurry uniformly. Once it is spreaded to all the corners uniformly, keep it aside for some time so it will get dried somewhat. Okay, the pourability will be reduced since silica gel will be absorbing all the water present in it. So that it will be forming some dried layer, somewhat dry layer. The complete solvent drying is taken place once it is activated at 110 degrees Celsius in hot air oven. So you want to keep it around 30 minutes. So completely plate will get dried. So if you take after drying, you will be understanding how the plate, whether plate is activated or not. So you will get very dried plate. That plate is ready now for sample application and TLC run. Okay, so this is what stationary phase is selected. Now next we will move on to the mobile phase selection. Principle, you know. So stationary phase is solid, so it is solid liquid chromatography. Mobile phase is liquid. So what are all the liquids we are using as mobile phase? Composition is acetone and toluene is taken. Acetone and toluene is taken as mobile phase. Acetone and toluene is taken as mobile phase. In the ratio of 2:8, acetone 2 volume and toluene 8 volume. So you will get totally 10 ml, even 2 ml and 8 ml if you take. It is sufficient for separation using glass slide. Okay, 10 ml totally is sufficient. According to the plate size and thickness, you can increase the volume of mobile phase in this order only. Okay, so what solvent is used for separation of sulfur drug? What sample we are going to use? Sulfur drug. For that, what mobile phase combination is used? Acetone and toluene. Acetone is evaporating solvent, right? And toluene is non-polar. Acetone is medium polar. So according to the polarity, the solvent is selected. Toluene is highly non-polar, where acetone is medium polar. So these two solvents are selected for separation of sulfur drugs in the ratio of 2 volume polar solvent and 8 volume of non-polar solvent is taken. So consider the polarity. So accordingly, sulfur drugs also will be having the polarity to separate out in the water in the TLC plate. And why we need to take non-polar solvents? Non-polar solvents will restrict the flow of sulfur drug. Sulfur drug will be definitely polar in nature, where acetone will take the sulfur drug to move in the plate. Okay, along with mobile phase, acetone will take the sulfur drug to move, where toluene will restrict the sulfur drug to move, so that your sulfur drug will get retarded in the plate when you are separating from moving along with the solvent. So that solvent friend will go from the sample, and it will reach the 3/4, where your sample will be restricted its movement by those two solvents, and it will be there somewhere in between solvent front and baseline. So this is what polarity makes the sample to get retarded in the plate and get separated in the plate, glass plate. So that is the role of mobile phase selection. Then mobile phase chamber used is 250 ml glass beaker with petri dish lid. Then chamber saturation is what? It is done by lining a piece of normal filter paper along the sides of the mobile phase chamber. A piece of normal filter paper is kept to monitor the chamber saturation. Once it is wet completely, according to the length of mobile phase chamber, it indicates that it is completely saturated. So saturation can be visualized by keeping normal filter paper along the sides of mobile phase chamber. Or else, without if you are thinking that mobile phase is wasted by running with the normal filter paper, then you can keep aside the mobile phase chamber closing with the petri dish lid for 20 minutes. Okay, so ideal chamber saturation time or pre-saturation time is 20 minutes. Why we need to saturate the chamber means, in order to avoid edge effect. For getting horizontal movement of mobile phase, we need to saturate the mobile phase chamber with mobile phase vapors. If it is not saturated, no uniform movement you will get. But there will be retardation in the movement at the edges of the plate, so it is called as edge effect. Okay, to avoid edge effect formation and to get the uniform movement, horizontal movement of solvent on the means through capillary action, we need to saturate the chamber before keeping your sample for separation. That is why 20 minutes chamber saturation is needed. Okay, so this is about mobile phase selection. Observation will be, this is another calculation part. We'll see the next part is sample application. So now you have selected stationary phase and the mobile phase. You know the role of selecting mobile phase. What combination is used? Acetone and toluene in the ratio of 2:8, volume by volume ratio. Now let's move on to sample application, that is sulfur drug. What concentration you need to prepare means 2 to 5% weight by volume solution is prepared. 2 to 5% weight by volume solution. That means 2 gram to 5 gram in 100 ml of solvent. And the prescribed solvent is prepared in which the sulfur drug is soluble. It might be one of the mobile phase solvent also, in which you can prepare. Mobile phase acts as solvent for samples also. See the solubility, whether the sulfur drug is soluble in acetone or in toluene or in some other solvent. In that particular solvent, we can dissolve the sulfur drug. Okay, what is the concentration? 2 to 5% weight by volume. Application devices, micropipette, or we can use capillary tube. It is only qualitative analysis. You are going to determine RF value. You are not going to determine the concentration. When you go for quantitative analysis, then you can go with micropipette. You can measure accurate volume and you can spot. So if you take a micropipette, what will be the concentration of spot means 5 to 15 microliter can be spotted over the TLC plate. 5 microliter to 15 microliter through micropipette can be spotted, or 1 to 3 drops from capillary tube can be spotted on the mark where you have given in the baseline. Okay, at the center of your slide, glass slide, at the center of the slide where you have spotted, marked the baseline. Baseline, how you will marking should be done with pencil, or you can, glass slide you are using, no, on the back side of glass slide, you no need to disturb the thin layer what you have prepared. On the back side with the glass marker, you can leave zero 0.5 centimeter at the bottom of the slide and mark the baseline, like how you have marked for paper chromatography with the pencil. You have left a 0.5 to 1 centimeter and you have marked the baseline, right? Why you have to leave that 0.5 to 1 centimeter? That is the mobile phase baseline. It should not, your sample whatever you are applying should not be immersed inside the mobile phase. Then it will be dissolved in mobile phase, so no sample will be developed. So that we have to leave some space. Over the mobile phase baseline, leave some 0.5 centimeter and then mark the baseline where you need to spot the sample. Okay, so likewise baseline should be marked, and from the baseline, how much distance sample is moved only taken for RF value calculation, not from the exact bottom of your stationary phase. Okay, next, positioning of stationary phase. So this is how sample is prepared. Concentration is 2.5 2 to 5%, from 2 to 5%. Weight by volume solution of sulfur drugs. Sulfur drugs are powder in form, so it is given as weight, and volume will be given since it is dissolved in some liquid solvent. And concentration varies from 2 to 5 gram, 5%. Percent represents 100 ml. Then the volume of solvent will be in 100 ml. 2 gram to 5 gram will be of your weight of your sample. Okay, so that is called a 2 to 5% weight by volume solution. Application device: capillary tube for qualitative purpose and micropipette for quantitative purpose. Qualitative purpose: through capillary tube, 1 to 3 drops of sample can be spotted. In micropipette, 5 to 15 microliter spot is spotted. Sample is spotted. Then markings done with pencil or glass marker beside the glass plate. No need to mark, should not mark over the thin layer plate. Okay, then the thin layer will be disturbed, it will be forming cracking and it will fallen down. You will not get the separation itself in that. So no, don't disturb that thin layer what you have activated, prepared and activated. Just you can use the glass plate for marking baseline and solvent front. Okay, then positioning of stationary phase, it is positioned inside the mobile phase in slanting position. Slanting position inside the mobile phase chamber. Assume the glass beaker, 50 ml glass beaker. In that slanting position, you need to keep the stationary phase plate. After drying well, the spots applied. When you need to place the stationary phase in mobile phase, you need to dry the spots well after applying. The sample spot, once it is applied, immediately you cannot keep it inside the mobile phase chamber for separation. Then also it will be dissolved. You have to evaporate the solvent present along with the sample particle. So that is done with either by heating. In for TLC, even you can keep it at 40 to 60 degrees Celsius for 2 minutes in hotter oven, it will be evaporated. If not, you can keep it at room temperature itself. If any evaporating solvent you are using, like acetone and all, if you are using, it will be immediately getting evaporated. So you can keep it at room temperature for some time. Once it is dried, you can keep it in the mobile phase chamber for separation. So that is how positioning of stationary phase should be followed. And then development time, once it is kept, then mobile phase will start moving upward, that is ascending direction. In one dimensional direction it will be moving. When it is reaching the 3/4 of the distance, okay, when it is reaching the 3/4 of the distance in the slide, you have to stop the development. You have to remove the stationary phase from the mobile phase chamber, and you need to mark that 3/4 distance traveled. That is considered as solvent front. So time taken by the mobile phase solvent to move from baseline to solvent front, 3/4 distance, is called development time. This is important. It will be varying according to the environmental factors, solvent purity, based on the sample, everything, based on the mobile phase nature, polarity, everything. This timing will be varying. That's why we need to focus on development time also. From baseline to reach the 3/4 of the distance in the plate, how long it takes, okay, by the mobile phase, that is called development time. Then drying after development is air drying. or you can keep the plate at 40 to 60 degrees Celsius. Whatever temperature you are applying for the sample drying, the same can be applied for the after development also. Or if you keep it at room temperature itself or under air, it will be dried soon. Then you can go for detection of spot. So once it is developed, your sample will be located in between solvent front and baseline, so that you need to find out where it is located or how much distance it is traveled from the baseline. That is detected under UV light at 254 nanometer. This is the direction wavelength under UV light for sulfur drugs. You need to find out color of zone and calculation is done. I will be showing the old record for the values and the detection color and all now. Okay, so this is about TLC, what you need to perform in the lab. Separation and identification of sulfur drugs using RF value by thin layer chromatographic analysis. We have discussed the requirements, why we are using all the apparatus and chemicals. And under the chromatographic parameters, we discussed principles, selection of stationary phase, then mobile phase, based on its polarity, how it is selected, and then sample application, positioning of stationary phase, development time, drying after development, detection of spots. Ideal RF values between 0.1 and 0.9. And you need to report RF value of given sample of sulfur drug or drugs. Mixture of sulfur drugs or single sulfur drug is given, found to be what RF value. Only you need to detect RF value. In the discussion, you need to write what is the use of sulfur drugs, why you have to separate by TLC, and what are the applications of TLC in separating sulfur drugs, what are the general applications of TLC. Yeah? This all you can write in the discussion part. What other samples can be separated by TLC similarly also can be written in the discussion part that you have to write. Okay. So this is what the third experiment you need to perform. Now I will share with you old record. From that I will be showing you the readings and color change that you have to copy it in your observation, do the calculations and submit. If you are coming directly, if we get a possibility to come to the college directly, definitely you will be performing the experiments. Okay. In group or individually, according to the time we get, I'll assign all the experiments to be performed by you. Can you see the manual now? Whether can you observe the manual, what I have uploaded now, old manual, that date also written in hand? Yes, no? Okay. Okay, then I will give the discussion on that. We'll discuss on that. So the same experiment. This is by 2017 to 18 batch. What the first batch of PA, what they have, your family seniors, they have done with the same manual. And they have observed. See, these are all the observation. What already we have discussed, the stationary phase principle, everything is same. The same manual only I have given to you. No alterations I have done. Since I have not handled for next coming years. 18-19 batch also I have handled, but I couldn't attend their exams during that time, so I couldn't concentrate much on that batch. So the first batch I have handled. So whatever parameter I have, they have written is suggested by me only, so that the same can be copied to you. So whatever troubles or struggles you face, if any inconvenience you feel in the practical, that can be rectified by me. Okay. Easily by me. Then in the observation, you need to write chamber saturation time. Ideal chamber saturation time is 20 minutes. The same you need to copy. Then development time also 20 minutes. In 20 minutes, it has taken to develop. That means to move the mobile phase from baseline to solvent front. To reach this 4.5 centimeter distance, it has taken 20 minutes. Okay. 20 minutes time. That's what given here, 20 minutes time. And in the under thin layer chromatogram, you just draw a plate. Plate measures what this dimension 2.5 centimeter width and 7.5 centimeter length. That is the glass slide. You draw according to the distance given. And then leave 1.5 centimeter. Yeah, she has left 1.5 centimeter from the bottom and has drawn the baseline. And where at the center of the baseline, actually you need to mark the sample. Here at the center, you need to mark the or spot the sample. Keep marking for spotting the sample. And then the sample has traveled 1.7 centimeter. So this is your sample distance. And this sample solvent moves up to 4.5 centimeters so that it reaches 3/4 of the plate. Where in the upside also you have left 1.5 centimeters. So 3 centimeter you have left where 4.5 centimeter your solvent has moved for separation. Okay. So this is about the movement. Note down the readings. Okay. You need to draw the same thing at the same place in your manual. First draw in your observation and then you can copy it in the manual. Okay. And in the tabular column, for sulfur drug, sulfanilamide sample has been taken. This is of known sample given to you. Okay. During exams, it will be unknown. Okay. You need to find out RF value of given sample. Sometimes the sample name will be revealed. So sample distance traveled by solute is what? Solute represents your sample or analyte. 1.7 centimeter. Distance traveled by solvent here. It is not solute, it is solvent only. That is 4.5 centimeter. And observed RF value is 0.37. If you means divide these two readings, you will get 0.37. Standard RF value is 0.22 for sulfanilamide, and this is to be compared with the sample. Okay. So yeah, and this range you can change the readings. Okay, group wise you can change. First 3 members write 1.7 and next 3 members write somewhat more than that. See the near to standard value, you need to get the observed RF value. So accordingly change the readings. So all of you don't write 1.7 exactly. Okay. So change the readings in order to get closest reading towards 0.22. Okay. And find out the observation. Then do the calculation only dividing 1.7 or whatever reading is closest to standard. You make it either decrease or increase from this reading to if you increase the reading will be decreased, right? So increase the distance of the solute travel. Keep the solvent distance same 4.5 only, since it is to be kept constant only. If you are marking solvent front before starting your development, then definitely it will be constant. You will be measuring 4.5 centimeter, you will keep the marking. So you will allow the solvent to move until this marking. So definitely it will be 4.5 centimeter. So don't change the distance traveled by solvent, only change the distance traveled by solute. You just increase the readings from 1.7 in order to get the closest reading towards standard reading. Standard value is 0.22. Have you all noted down? So that's what, and the report you want to write what is the RF value you have detected. And in the discussion, it is not, it is actually written by them. The same points I don't require. You need to write what are sulfur drugs, the general applications of sulfur drugs, and what is the application of TLC. It is not included in that, and role of RF value detection. This all can be discussed under discussion. Okay. Since they have written for the first time, they would not have known all the points. They have not have written all the points, and you know some idea about writing discussion, so that you need to write the same part and submit. So these are all the things you need to write. And one more point also you need to write what color change it gives. Color change they have not noted down. Actually, yellow color sulfur drugs will give yellow color zone only. Visible absorbance only. So write a yellow colored spot. Will be of yellow colored spot only. You just write yellow colored spot. There she has not written the color change. Actually, yellow color spot. Since sulfur drugs are colored one, when you apply the sample itself, visibly you can observe the color change. Where location of spot also, even visible light itself, you can observe the color change. So yellow colored spot you can write. Okay. So this is about TLC separation. The same things you need to write, and write the chemical reaction between sulfanilamide and UV light, so that what color it will give. Even you can refer and write also what color it sulfur drugs will be giving at 254 nanometer. What color fluorescence it will be giving. Refer and write. Okay, and write the reference also in your observation. This is the work assigned to you. What you will be finding, what color fluorescence sulfanilamide will give under UV light at 254 nanometer. Find out and enter in the column where it is given here. Color change has been asked, no? In the same place you need to write the color change, color of the spot. Here you have to write what color spot you have obtained. Okay, and here also the color of the zone, you write the same. Just refer and write the same. Okay, since we all have referred for the procedure calculation, this all informations you have got. Only you need to refer color of the spot at 254 nanometer under UV direction and write it. And discussion you need to write. The calculation already you have observed, the same way you need to do the calculation. Distance traveled by the solute and distance traveled by the solvent. Clear, no? Is there any doubt in this? Is there any doubt in this? Okay. For ascending and circular, I'll show the readings. You just note it down. Repeat the question once again. Okay. You have to note down color. I'll write in the chat box. Color of the spot observed for sulfur drugs, mainly sulfanilamide. What sample you have used? Sulfur drugs. At 254 nanometer under UV light. When it is kept under UV light, UV chamber, when it is kept inside the TLC plate after development, if you are keeping it under UV light, you need to find out what color fluorescence it is giving. It is actually fluorescence color. It will, every molecule will give fluorescence, some fluorescence color under the UV light. You need to find out fluorescence color of the spot. What color fluorescence it gives. Okay. Color of the spot is to be referred and written at the place of color of the spot in your manual. Okay. So this is the question. Subhadarshini, clear, no? Color of the spot. Okay. Observed for sulfur drugs at 254 nanometer under UV light. This color will be of some fluorescence color, yellow fluorescence or blue fluorescence or green fluorescence. Based on the substance nature, it will be giving. That you need to find out. The same way you will be finding out in lab also, keeping under UV chamber. Okay. Clear, no? So let me give the readings for ascending and circular paper chromatography for two molecules. You just take it down. For experiment 1, paper chromatography, take the readings. Chamber saturation and all you should have already written, right? 15 minutes, development time was 20 minutes for them. Whatever development time you have noted in lab, the same to be copied here. And the readings for amino acids, aspartic acid, that is first one, isoleucine. I have performed, you mark with the 5 centimeter and 10 centimeter paper is taken. Okay, 10 into 5 centimeter paper. Distance will be 10 and this diameter will be 5 centimeter. Length will be 10 and width will be 5 centimeter. You have to draw, and for two samples you have to keep the markings. Where aspartic acid moved only 1 centimeter, aspartic acid distance traveled by aspartic acid is 1 centimeter, whereas isoleucine traveled 4.4 centimeter, and solvent front is 6.5 centimeter. Note down this reading and do the calculation. Standard values for aspartic acid and isoleucine are 0.24 and 0.72. 0.24 for aspartic acid standard RF value, and standard RF value for isoleucine is 0.72. So according to the standard value, you can change the distance traveled by solute and you can write it. Okay. One of you write this reading and others just change the reading. Keep this solvent distance common. Solvent friend distance common. Keep it solvent distance 6.5 centimeter. Hmm? Whereas write only solute readings that is closest to the standard RF value readings, and do the calculation and submit. Okay, here color of the spot you will be knowing, Ruman's purple color already is given. Okay, and discussion you need to write the role of aspartic acid and isoleucine in pharma field, and when it is deviating from the standard value. Okay, why it is deviating from standard value, that suggestion also to be given in discussion. If it is standard RF value, you know. Observed RF value also, you know. If it is varying much, what reason? If it is obeying, then what is the reason? That you have to write. Okay. So this is about discussion part. Noted down the readings now for first experiment. If not, also I'll be giving the recordings. I'll be posting the recordings in your classroom, so you can observe at the same page and you can write in your observation. First, get evaluated in the observation, then you can manual.
Distance traveled by the solute should be constant or it should be changed, ma'am?
Solute can be changed according to the standard RF value. Okay, either you can increase or decrease. You should have observed the standard RF value, right, in the tabular column. Have you observed?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you observed the standard value, that is 0.24 and 0.72? This is standard. Observed value is from the value distance what you have observed for the sample. Okay, this can be changed. The first column can be changed for two samples. Aspartic it will be appearing near to baseline, where isoleucine will be moving long, that is near to solvent friend it will be giving always. So you can increase or decrease this reading. Solvent friend reading, this second column reading kept the same. Since solvent moved 6.5 to 7 centimeter, even you can allow 7 centimeter also. Okay, either 6.5 or 7, you can keep constant this one. For both the samples it will be same only, either 6.5 or 7 you can write. Okay, and calculate the RF value, it should be closest to this value. Likewise you write it and write the discussion based on that. Applications of paper chromatography, application of the amino acid what you have selected, and the concept behind that separation and all you can select. Here they have written, see, the particles with greater affinity move slow, elutes later, that is aspartic acid, and the particles with lesser affinity moves fast and get separated first, that is isoleucine. So this all you can write, mechanism and all. So whatever way you have understood that experiment, you can write. For circular paper chromatography, draw like this circular paper. Okay, what two amino acids, aspartic acid and phenylalanine, these two amino acids has been selected for this, where aspartic acid always moves only less distance from baseline. This is baseline. Here 0.7 centimeter only aspartic acid has been moved, where phenylalanine moves 1.4 centimeter, somewhat higher than aspartic acid. Okay, and you are leaving from the center spot to 1.5 centimeter to baseline, like ascending chromatography, and this is the solvent friend 3/4 distance moved across the paper. And what is the development time? Nearly 40 minutes. And what time you have observed during your practicals, that also you can write. Chamber saturation time is 15 minutes, since they have kept even for circular paper chromatography, no need to keep for saturation, since we are using petri dish, it will be immediately saturated once you add the mobile phase. Here no need of writing chamber saturation time only. Even you can just write 5 minutes. You can give 5 minutes, not more than 5 minutes, since once you add mobile phase, immediately you will not keep the paper. You will be spotting the sample. You have to allow the sample to dry. This all the process are there. So just give 5 minutes time for that. And development time 40 minutes. It has taken 40 minutes to reach the solvent friend. And aspartic acid distance is what? Mobile phase distance is 1.4 centimeter. This is 0.7 centimeter. And distance traveled by solvent friend distance is 3 centimeter. This is kept constant. You can change this readings according to the standard value. And this is observed values. What for this readings? What your results you have got. Standard RF value for aspartic acid 0.24, as we have seen for ascending, and 0.68 will be for phenylalanine. Okay. So whatever technique you follow, RF value should be constant, either in ascending or circular. RF value should not change. So according to the closest standard value, just make observed value closest to this, so that you can alter only solute distance, not solvent distance. It is kept constant. And do the calculations like this and write it. And do the discussion also here. Write the discussion also, like for ascending paper chromatography, what you have written. Okay. So this is how you need to make 3 experiments. First 2 experiments along with today's experiment, TLC. Okay. So shall I stop the class now? We'll discuss for any doubts. You can post in the WhatsApp or in classroom. We'll be having discussion. Okay. Is there any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay, absentees also just circulate, ma. I will be posting the video. Let them see, or else whatever you have written, just share with your friends. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. So we get prepared for the class test tomorrow. I have posted questions also. Questions you will be getting during the time of class test. Just prepare full UV visible spectroscopy today. Write the test well. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
All of you be safe. Take care.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much.